Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So greetings, viewers. Today on Alatra TV Island, I'm Lil Selina Joinson, and I'm with Dr. Anneke Sorensen. We are welcoming our common friend who joins us all the way from the Netherlands. But before we introduce her, I'd like to remind those who are maybe watching us for the first time that the topic of such live conversation is creative society. Society where human life is the highest value, where each and every person feels safe and lives fulfilled lives and has opportunities to constantly develop as a person and as a professional. Now I'm passing this straight over to Anneke. She will introduce our gorgeous, beautiful guest. Anneke.
Hi, hello, dear friends. I'm very excited to introduce our friend Marina de Haan, Manager of Change in Healthcare, business owner of Wohnung Investors Network, author, life coach, and speaker. And I just want to just quickly tell you how Marina and I know each other, and actually also Selina, because we all met on a course on Bali for speaking in 2014, and we have been connected ever since, and we have been using our speaking learning on all our different parts, because we are from different parts of the world, or we are rather from Europe, all of us. From Marina is from Holland, as we said, or Netherlands, and I'm from Sweden, and Selina is from Wales, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, Marina, would you please tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself, what you're doing and what motivates you in life?
Oh, wow. In the first place, thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to see you on Zoom. I would love to hug you, but we will. And thank you so much. It's been 6 years and we just had a little chat before the broadcast started, and we said, we've grown so much, and I'm so grateful for everything that's happening and the way we can be a human being instead of a human doing, because I think that's what I basically learned, especially the last year. We are home, we are locked in, and I felt a freedom which I've never felt before, to do nothing at all and to not feel guilty about it, but just to be myself and think, but who am I? Who am I aside that personality that people think I am and that I've made myself believe that I am? And then all kind of wondrous things starts to happen. So yeah, I think it's a very weird time. I used to work in healthcare, as you said, but I think it's a bit hard for me to see because I don't believe in the systems anymore. So I'm trying to do something next to it. And I started my own real estate business 5 years ago, which is especially last year booming. And I'm also into life coaching because I turned 60 this year. I feel 46, but I turned 60. And then people see your wisdom and the first gray hairs, and they're coming with all kind of questions about life. And not that I have the answers, but I think I inspire people to live life to the fullest. And I think that's what I see, what I do most. I travel the world and I enjoy my life extremely, extremely. So that's about me.
Brilliant. Beautiful. Thank you, Marina. And you're just an enormous, beautiful human being. And I just wanted to check with you. Now, you founded your company in 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So could you share with us a little bit about, because it's a new style of property business. And, I'm just curious, really, what did you notice? What was the problem in Holland? What was the property problem? And how has your business grown since then?
Yeah, thank you for that question. In 2009, we had a huge collapse economically. And as we say it, lots of houses were underwater, which you call negative equity. so whenever people wanted to sell their homes, they had a debt, so they couldn't sell. And people lost their jobs and people had to find new jobs, and so they couldn't sell. And my nephew was in that same situation, actually not my nephew, but his girlfriend. And because I had some properties as sort of hobby, my like second homes, and sometimes I exchanged some for money. And so they came for advice and I couldn't help. And that was when I thought, oh my gosh, you know, if somebody really is close to you, you can't help. So then I decided to start investigating if there were any solutions for this problem. And there were actually in England with the same people we've met on Bali, the same trainers there. They had a property business exactly doing that. And so we translated the concept from the UK market to the Dutch market, which was harder because there's so many rules and regulations here, but we managed. And that was the start of my business. And that was because it felt from a motivation within, not so much for making money, but more to help people. But the funny thing is, and that's what I always say, when you follow your heart, the money comes. And to be honest, I've struggled a lot of years. I think I've struggled for 2 or 3 years because the system here, it was really hard to break for me. And my mindset was the same, because I was telling people, oh, the banks don't work and they don't work. And you know, if you tell that story over and over again, it's how it works. So it was only after a couple of years that I thought, okay, I have to make the decision. This is making me unhappy. So either I stop this business or I'm going to do it well, but then I have to change my mindset. And that's exactly what I did. So it took me just 1 more year and then went booming.
It's amazing.
So what's in the man's minds, isn't it?
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, you change your mind because,
absolutely,
you know, I'm just curious. You mentioned earlier about how you viewed yourself, right? And now you've had a transition from the business not operating as you wanted it to, which was not providing the solution for your family, you know, initially. And I can hear the heart always with you, Marina. You know, the heart is speaking. Yeah. And so then you discovered, and then you know, found the solution, and now you've changed yourself to bring this into fruition. So how did you do that? I mean, I'm sure the viewers would love to know, how did you do that? How did you change? And also, I'm going to extend the question a little bit to, how did you change? And then how did you integrate your goals in your business with your personal values and your goals, and how you support more and more people?
I love that. Yeah. I think it was Jim Rohn that said, work 80% on yourself and 20% on the business. And I've never understood it, because we are raised that we have to work hard to make money. So, and I was used to work hard, and I made a lot of money, but I always used to. And then I thought, this can't be true, that we have to. And then I started to understand, working on yourself, it's on your mindset, is how do you view things? How positive are you? How do you attract the right people? What's in your mind? And I think a lot of things helped me, but observing myself. And the funny thing is, I started to write a book in 2014 when I'd started the business, and I left it there. And 3 or 4 years later, I took it and I read it, and I thought, oh my God, I'm so negative. I can't believe that's me, because everybody thinks I'm a positive person. I am, but I was so stuck in my mind. And then either you need somebody that tells you, stop it, which also Vincent did, who always trusted me and said, come on, you can do it and go forward. But I had to change my mind. And so it took a lot of work. And especially last year, I noticed that still we are so human doings. We have to do things. And even when I sit still, I go like, oh, but maybe I should. No, sometimes you should do nothing. You should meditate, and you should just enjoy nature and do the things you like. And then things start to happen. And then there's this space, and then these people come your way. Like you told me, Selena, this person who wants to do a documentary comes to you. You didn't ask anybody, but you do the things your heart is telling you to do. And that's how it works. It's so amazing. And this is absolutely, if people want to read anything, stop being yourself because we are literally programmed. And it's so easy to know, because if you're born in Asia or Africa or Europe, you're programmed differently. So that means we're all the same person, but somebody put something in our heads, and that you have to get rid of that. So that's the main work.
Yeah. And you are also a life coach, right? So, and you already mentioned that for many people, we live in the society where it's so hectic and lifestyle is really just too much, and you are a wild monkey inside yourself, in your head. And what tips can you share to bring their mind under control so that they can enjoy their life?
Yeah, I think what everybody tells you is do meditation, but that doesn't work when your mind is so what I always need some understanding. So I needed to understand how my brain worked and how I could influence it. And then I thought, start doing things that work for you. So for me, nature or walking or even my kickboxing is what really gets me out of the world inside myself. I'm so concentrated doing it that everything, and then my mind gets still. Then I get this silence to do things. And that's for everybody different. So just do something that maybe you want to be with your granddaughter, because then if you have that feeling that there's no time, that is when the brain is really in a better state, a slower state of, because my mind is quite a beta mind as well. I can be very, but it can also be very still.
Yeah. And beside working with people, you also love traveling.
Oh.
What values do you think unite all people regardless of nationality, religion, or social status? What do we have in common? You have mentioned some of it before, but what have you learned from your traveling?
Exactly that if you travel, like for instance, religion, I'm raised a Christian, but when you travel the world, you go like, oh my gosh, here's a Buddha and here's the Islam and here's this and here's this. And it can't be true that I'm born and that this is the right one. So there must be something that is common for everybody. And so now in this time, there's so much more knowledge. And now we call it infinite intelligence, or the God within, or consciousness, awareness. And that is actually what we are. So the brain and that what we see is a visual reality. It's, it's put in the brain and it has a translation here. And then we think that's all real, but there's a way better person inside. And that's where we have to find our heart. And I met so many wise people. And also when you're traveling by yourself, for instance, when I walked Santiago de Compostela by myself, and the first 2-3 days, I was so scared. Do I have something to eat? Can I find water? Because it was so hot in Spain. And can I find a place to sleep? And then every moment I had one of those dips, somebody appeared out of nothing with a bottle of water. And I go like, what? Universe, it's amazing, but you have to have trust. And in that process, I started to trust myself. And then even when you think, what's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, maybe you have to sleep outside. So what? And then you notice that it's your mind telling all these stories that this can happen and that can happen, but it doesn't happen in this moment. So as long as we stay in this moment, everything's fine. And that's what I learned from my travels. And I've met you guys on Bali. I mean, wasn't that amazing? Yeah. And so we had so many breakthroughs there in just 1 week. So yeah, that's what I love about it. It broadened my perspective on the world very, very much. Yeah.
Beautiful,
and then I think
Marina.
is that you have a very international network now, which is great being sort of locked in, but I don't feel locked in at all. I mean,
yeah, you're in a little box on my screen, but that doesn't count, does it?
Exactly.
No, we're all little boxes on the screen.
We are.
So, oh, Marina, you just, yeah, it's very moving. I'm really quite tearful with how you're expressing yourself around your understanding of yourself and learning about yourself and that growth and going within, it's very emotional. And because it's all so authentic.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Well, you know, that's another thing. I think in the beginning of this year, I've been crying for 2 weeks in a row, and I hardly ever cry because my life is so joyful and happy, and you know, so, and of course I've got ups and downs, but I'm more in an acceptance mode. But in the beginning of the year, I had something like, what's going to happen? And I don't know. And it felt like everything that I had in bad energy was coming out in a sort of way. And I go like, okay, I'll close my curtains. My phone is off and I'm going to cry because I want to cry. And it helped me so much. It was like such a relief of all these things that probably maybe weren't even mine or were mine. I don't care. Yeah. But it was lovely to do. So if somebody feels like it, do it.
Beautiful, because that was going to be a question, but I think, you know, the question was, right, so how do you envisage a creative society where you, your family, your friends, and everyone lives happily?
Yeah, I love that question. I think the last 10 years, I've learned so much about quantum physics. And that means that what I'm trying to express is that this world that we see is literally the world by our senses, which is a program in our brain. But there's also a super consciousness. And I'm following Rupert Spira, and last week he said, if I was going to ask you to stand up and take a step towards yourself, where would you go? And then I realized we are so much more. And I started to I make vision boards every year, but I also started to write out my life. So I was trying to see if I could get my brain to imagine all the things I wanted, if that would really work. And it does work. I've got a second car, which is exactly the car on my vision board. And the first one, I got it with 6,000 euros off because somebody called me and they said, hey, you're looking for a new one. And this one, it has exactly the grill. Everything is from my vision board. And that's really how the brain works. And that's the work I did last year, because now I can see that this is what we can do. And this society is awesome, because this is exactly what they're trying to do, keeping the people together and bringing them together to believe in that we can create our own world. So, and I strongly believe we can. And I can't do it. Sometimes I have those dips and I don't believe, of course, but I'm an observer of myself, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. I think the technical team has a small gift for you. And they have put together a collage. It's created for you. And could you please just give some comments on the lovely pictures you see? Then
I have to. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah. That's what my life's about. Yeah. There's a lot of traveling, as you see, a lot of sailing. A friend of mine got his own boat. I see my friends in Sweden when we were invited by Annika. And left is, I went to see a young friend of mine. He's only in his 30s and he lives in Italy. And he said, come and join me this year because you can't travel that much. And we were on this scooter and I loved every second of it. And the other one is in Wales Dragon Studio, because I did a session on branding for businesses. And in the middle are some colleagues, which I highly, highly appreciate. I'm lead of an international network, which is called GIN, Global Information Network. And they do a lot of mindset things as well. And the left upper corner is in, I love walking trails. And this was something in my belief. I was walking a trail on flip-flops. And my belief was that couldn't be done because you had to wear the big shoes. And so, but these are really good flip-flops. And I did, and it was amazing when we was with a friend of mine and we walked in America. It was beautiful. And the new trail is on my vision board as well. I love trails. Yeah, lovely. Well done. Oh, and in the right is, I also do, when I use my left brain, this is a training for strategic real estate in healthcare. because they can learn a bit up there. They can really learn a bit. Yeah, so that's it.
Great to hear, and lovely photos.
Yeah,
And
lovely. Thank you so
as
much.
you are a manager of change in healthcare that you just said,
Yeah.
and what problem, in your opinion, is this we're having today, and how would you like to see healthcare in a new
Well, you
creative
said it
society?
yourself. You said it yourself. It's about health and not about illness. That's where it starts. And it's also because we believe that with our brain, we can do a lot with our body, because our body has a fantastic way of healing itself. But we've lost it. We've lost connection with our bodies. We've lost connection with, we don't have the right food, no movement. I think that's where it starts, with the lifestyle. And then these systems are so huge that the board and the distance to the patient there's so many people in between, and there's so many egos up here, so many egos. I don't think that works. So I decided to step out, and I'm looking if there's a way, because I'm in real estate and I've been in healthcare, to see if I can do it on a smaller scale. And if not, I do some of the trainings, but they're not really so much from the heart anymore. So I think we have to build a new society built on what can you do to be healthy, and what do you believe you can, because that's so much. Yeah, that's such a great deal of the problem and of the solution.
Yeah, and I think you and I have the same view on this in so much, because
and also I noticed I got frustrated working there I think 2 years ago, and I thought, I'm not the best version of myself being in this frustration mood, so they're not the leader they need at this moment. So I had to step out and see where I can lead in a new way, and that will come. That's
exactly. They have to, in my opinion, they would need to tear all the organization down and start from the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
And take away a few of those middlemen.
Yeah. And that's how I look at this society at the moment, because I think Corona did us so well, because the system have to collapse. And it's not only healthcare, it's also the banking system, the monetary system. And everybody knows this is not nice for human beings. So I think it's probably going to take 10 years, but I think I'll be there to watch it and to help building a new one. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Beautiful. And I also sort of, going back to what you said about Jim Rohn, about the 80-20 rule, what you were talking about there, from, and also it brings to my mind the environment. We brought Joe Dispenza's book there about the environment. So when you were in that healthcare profession, in that organization, the environment wasn't serving you, I hear, right? It was not serving you. You were getting frustrated.
Yeah.
So
but that's also your own mindset.
Yes.
Because I also know people that still can do it from the heart and making a change inside.
Yes.
But I thought it wasn't my path at that moment. So I had to get out and give myself a break. And I'd done it for a long time. So it was nice. And then Corona came. So that's good.
Yeah.
And I think the 2080 rule, working on the business, for instance, if you do a marketing course, they ask you, what's your ideal client? And you write it all down, blah, blah, blah. But now I've got the right client in my mind, and I visualize him and I think about him. And I just had a property, I sold it. It's actually tomorrow it will be sold. It was for 12 years on the market, and that lady was all over the place. And I sold it in 2 months. Because it's mindset. It was here in her mind that she could sell. And that's what I do. So it's such a different approach to doing business. And she was all over Facebook like, oh, what the real estate agent couldn't do in 12 years, Marina did in 2 months. But that's because, and that's what I call coaching. It's not so much the business, it's her personality and it's my personality that makes it work in the end. So, yeah. And
What
that's
a beautiful.
Yeah, lovely story.
Yeah, example, beautiful. So the participants of ALLATRA IPM conducted millions of social surveys and interviews with different people, asking them the same question about what world they would be happy to live in as a result of this research. The 8 foundations of creative society were formed. Wow. We know you have read them already. So could you please share your insights and ideas of one of them? Just one of them, Marina.
Well, the first thing is that everybody says they want a happy life. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? So it's not about the material things. And I've picked the one, we are all human beings and we all have to be the right to be a human being. And that's what Annika said. We are different from the outside, but we're absolutely the same from the inside. And that's what we have to find and follow, is our heart and our soul's mission. And that everybody is in that area the same. Oh, the world would look so different, so much different. If we could only believe that, that would be, life-changing, I think. And I think ALLATRA did that very well. Very nice.
So what do you think each of us can do already today to make our world a better place for everyone else, for everyone, all of us?
Thank you for that. I'll ask my advisors. Because when I don't know the answer, they're here. I think we have to start with ourselves, because what I see at the moment is that everybody's blaming everything around us. If it's not politicians, it's whatever, the system and blah, blah, blah. But we have to live our own lives. And that's, last year, my family was really amazed, because I live exactly the same life. I do travel a little bit less, but there's nothing in my life restricting me to. So they go like, you acted as if there's not Corona. I said, no, don't get me wrong. There is COVID. There is child trafficking. There is fraud. There is everything in this world. But I don't want to have it in my world. So where I can keep it out of my life, I'll do everything. And what I do is focus on the right things. Can I help my neighbors? My neighbor's mom is in the hospital for 6 weeks. Can I do something up there? Can I be a better person for my mom? I think that's where it starts. Live your own life and don't blame everybody else. You are responsible for your own life. And the good news is we can change our own lives. And sometimes we need a little help. And I think this organization is exactly doing that, showing the way. So, yeah. And I love to do that in my life coaching as well. Lead people to step up for themselves and stop blaming, because that's where it starts.
Yeah. And you're a beautiful example, Marina, of that for them, your coaches and all of us. So thank you. Thank you so much. So who is someone who inspires you, who is socially active? I know there's many, and have progressive ideas of how to make our world happier, so you could name and share, and then we could perhaps get them on the next broadcast.
Oh, I have to ask them first, but I definitely know a couple. One of them is an angel coach, and she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. She channels, and love her. I don't know if she wants to do it, but I know a lot of people that are in this mindset at the moment. So yeah, can definitely find 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you want.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. So we would also like to remind our viewers, if you want to join the Creative Society project, you can go to the allatraunites.com website and click join us. And maybe next time we see you as a guest or as a host, or if you wish as a technical support, feel free to join. And you've got the image here on the screen showing you exactly.
And so what does joining mean, Selena?
You join the society and you have a look to see if their values and your values match. And then we learn from each other. And yeah, Annika and I were in exactly the same situation as you, Marina. A friend of mine introduced me, and then I was asked to introduce someone else. And then I was asked, and it's just inclusive.
It's great. It's a
It's
ripple.
inclusive.
Yeah, it's
a
the ripple effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Love it.
Yeah.
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 So everybody join and spread your light, because it's way more important than all the years before, I think. So many people out there now fearful and scared, and yeah, I think they really need a little bit of love and a little bit of light. So
Yeah. So we are coming towards the end, and what would you like to say to everyone that's watching us right now? Some advice or a gift for them, or something that you would like to spread in the world?
I would like everybody to understand that there's so much more than they think they are, and that we are all so connected, even if we don't feel it, but that nobody is alone in this world. Because I think that's what this program is about. If we feel connected and if we feel from the heart, nobody's alone here and nobody's left behind. So that's what I want everybody to know.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And thank you so much, my friends, for this lovely conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank
you.
you. Yeah, for being so generous and open and authentic and just sharing with everyone and inspiring. That's what I hear. You know, an inspiration in the world. You're a light. You're a beacon, and your personal growth and development. You know, it's like it's tangible. You know, it's you know, it's not a mystery. You're sharing something that's not like hidden from anybody's view, that we can explore and we can change. You know, something that if we're listening, become aware of what's happening, start to listen a bit more. I hear it's, you know, it's a dot to dot. It sounds like, Annika. I don't know if that's what you heard. It sounded
Absolutely.
like a little, you know, like the children do the dot to dot. They do this.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
And that makes the whole picture in the end.
Yes.
And the ripples goes on and on and on, and it's not just the first layer, it's so many layers, and you never know.
Exactly. Yeah. And even if you help just one person, it's way more than no person. So
absolutely,
that's where it starts. Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I would love to see you in live. So
yeah,
nice to be
real.
united again.
Yep.
Let's pick an island.
Yes, that's right. Beautiful. Well, should we say goodbye there? I know it's never goodbye, but
never goodbye.
Never goodbye. Yeah, bye for now. Yes, and I wondered if yeah. So thank you so much, and thank you viewers for listening in and watching.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.